and selling. It's like an import-oriented thing. Very few people have the courage to invest that money in productive processes within the country. And I'll give you an example. A friend of mine was telling me a story. He set up a factory, and one of the days he went to his sports club where he has friends. And they said, "Oh, we don't see you like this." He said, "Oh, my factory I've been doing and setting up the factory." And one of them said, "Why, you're setting up the factory? What are you going to do?" He says, "I'm manufacturing." So I've forgotten what product it was. He said, "Oh, but you, it's Lebanese and Indians who build factories. You Ghanaian, what are you building a factory for? Ours is to trade." You know, I mean, if you have this kind of conception, you know. And so, yes, you go, the plastic factories that are producing the chairs and tables and things are owned by Lebanese and Syrians and, you know, Indians and so on and so forth, owned mostly by foreigners. Indigenous capital is not going into manufacturing. And that is some of what we need to look at. Small and medium enterprises have the potential, but they face many obstacles. One, they need training. To be able to run a business, you don't just get up and set up a business. They need training. They need succession planning. There's sometimes a small enterprise builds, becomes medium, it's doing very well, the owner drops dead. Now we have non-communicable disease, hypertension, diabetes, and things. The owner drops dead, the family quarrels over the business, and the business is gone tomorrow. And so we don't have succession planning. That's one of the problems with those small and medium enterprises. But the most important thing is access to capital. The banking sector in Africa is not attuned to lending to small and medium enterprises. And that's why I was sad when in Ghana, 9 of our indigenous banks were closed. I'm sure if you follow what happened in Ghana, one of the major things that has created our debt crisis is that government shut down 9 indigenous banks because it asked them to increase their capital reserve ratio to 400 million, and when the deadline reached that they couldn't increase it, they shut them down. Now, these were the banks that were operating in the risky end of the market, lending to small enterprises because they knew how to do that kind of lending. The Standard Chartered and Access of this world won't lend to that small trader who needs just 1,000 cedis to trade. But those indigenous banks would lend, they know where the person stays, they know where their business is, and they will come and demand their money when it's time to pay. And so because they work in the risky end of the market, of course, their non-performing debts will be higher than the bigger banks. And so government should have cut them some slack, bought equity into them, put in management to help them iron out their ethical issues and principles of business, and then sell back the equity to them when they stand on their feet. Unfortunately, just ordered them to shut down. And so now, unless you create a special purpose vehicle to be able to meet the needs of these small and medium enterprises, then capital becomes one of the major things that they face. They don't have enough capital. For most of them, the capital is not enough. They have to use the capital to do business, and at the same time, they have to feed their families. If your child is going to school and the capital is there, and you don't have the money to pay fees, you take out of it and pay school fees. And so, lack of adequate capital is a major constraint to them.
Thank you so much. Thank you for those responses. I will take one more question, and then we'll open.